2 tickets for Wednesday, June 19th. That's tonight. Yep. And you can pick up your tickets at our ticket office by 6:30. And the food booth's open at 5:30 and the play is at 7:30.
My grandparents moved here to this farmyard 82 years ago, and they farmed it for a very long time. Then my parents farmed it for over 50 years, and my sisters and I grew up here. The original barn was moved here from another spot, but we grew up milking cows in that barn and feeding chickens and playing with the calves. It was our way of life. And when my folks quit dairying, the barn kind of closed down and it was used for storage until 1991, the summer of 1991. I had been teaching at Rostron Junior College, was teaching theater and art, and what was happening was all my students kept graduating. Just after they got to a place where they were actually quite good, we'd get a new crop in and the experienced ones would leave, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do something with people of the appropriate ages? And I knew so many people in the community who had a flair for acting and would love to do that kind of thing. My parents had been farming for a good long while and were starting to slow down. Just when I was coming up with this idea of trying theater, and I kept thinking, there's this wonderful building on the yard that's big enough to do something in, which I wouldn't have to pay rent for. And so we had this conversation in a small little cafe in Rostron. What would you think if I tried this? We started in the old barn first, and we did Charlotte's Web. And what a perfect place to do Charlotte's Web. We seated about 100 at that time, and we sold out all our nights before we even started. So then it was, well, is that a flash in the pan, or is that something that actually could continue? So then my father said, well, we have to build another storage Quonset somewhere. So he built this one for his equipment. And we'd use it one summer to see if we could support a bigger space as a theater. Well, he never got it back because we filled it up, and that's 23 years ago now, and he never got it back. So it's our theater. In the summer, we have an event. We have buses that come from Nipawin, from Prince Albert, from Rosetown, Kindersley. The old granary has 4 compartments, and we have food booths. We have local bands, old-time bands, country bands playing on the bandstand. That's all live, and lots of picnic tables out there. So people come at 5:30, enjoy the whole yard event, and then they come in for the show at 7:30. And we have lots and lots of people who come to listen and eat, and it's a wider community kind of feel to the whole thing. KOLD Radio Whitefish Bay. It takes place in a little town in northern Minnesota where fishing is king. Everybody fishes and everybody has some sort of outdoor activity.
You've got a radio station which has been bought by a new owner, come up from the south, and it's not a very good radio station. It's local, and most of the interest seems to be in fish.
My show that I start out with is Crappie Talk, where that's all I talk about is ice fishing for the crappies. And of course I have, well, one listener, but not really, because she's just attracted to me.
My role is Martha Bjorklund, the host of a small town radio show, Bookbeat, which is thriving in the station. And yeah, she's just come back to Whitefish Bay and just doing well with her show.
It's a farce, so everybody's coming and going and doing crazy things. And they start laughing from the first joke in the show, and their sides are hurting by the end.
Good evening, everybody. I guess we had a few little raindrops to dodge, but overall it wasn't too bad. We didn't have to become ducks this evening. I'd like to welcome you all here. My name is Colleen Dick. I'm the general manager here at the Barn Playhouse. And on behalf of my sisters, Vicky and Jane, I'd like to welcome you all here this evening. Relax and enjoy KOLD Radio Whitefish Bay.
You're listening to Crappie Talk on KOLD Radio Whitefish Bay. I'm Lars Knudsen, and with me is Ole Svensson, owner of Ole's Bait Farm. How are you today, Ole?
Good, Lars. Thanks for asking.
Cold out there this morning, wasn't it, Ole?
Really cold, Lars. Froze my tuckus off getting here.
Ole, it's a family program.
Oh, sorry!
Crappie Talk is sponsored by Ole's Bait Mart. You buy your bait from Ole's, you might just catch a fish.
Ole's Bait Mart, Ole's Bait Mart. If you buy your bait from Ole's Bait Mart, you might catch a fish. If you buy your bait from Ole's Bait Mart.
Today on Crappie Talk, we're talking about ice fishing for the crappie. Technically, I started when I wasn't even born yet, because my mom helped build the inside of the barn when she was pregnant with me. So I've kind of been here a long time. But the first play that I started in was fruitcakes when I was 14 years old. It was an interesting one where it was, again, with Rick Cranston, who played Jack in this show. And I was with him, and it was just about me. I was a runaway. I was just in with this town full of fruitcakes, pretty much.
Get tied to a cactus and left for the buzzards. I crack myself up sometimes.
I won't let you down, Mr. Ewan. I'm Lars Knudsen.
Well, it's good to know who you are, Lars Knudsen.
I've kind of just kept it localized here. I like it as a hobby, and this is an excellent place to keep it as a hobby. I mean, it's great atmosphere, and I love what they do, love doing it.
We're a community theater, so we have open auditions, and we have a wide variety of people who come. A lot are familiar to us. They've come many, many times over the years and have been in shows, and we always get a few new ones too, and I try to incorporate new people each time as well. So in a cast, this is about 10. We have a couple who are new to us, and then a number of veterans as well. And our ages range, like the little girl in this show is 6 years old. And also it's a wide range of ages, and I think the oldest we've had has been 82.
Sarah, what would you think about moving?
Moving? I love it here. All my friends are here, and Martha.
Yeah, you like Martha, don't you?
She's the best.
Yeah, she is. You like me too?
I love you, Daddy.
That's my girl. Say, why don't you go finish your game with Carla, and I'll be out in a minute.
Okay. Hi, Martha.
Oh, hi, Sarah. How did you do on your spelling test today?
I got an A.
Very good. That deserves a reward.
What is it?
An early birthday present.
You know, my birthday's coming up.
That's nice, Carla.
A new dress. Thanks, Martha.
Oh, I better go. I'm on in a minute. I did my first show here when I was 9 years old, and that was The Music Man in 1999, I believe. And I was just a townsperson, so I got to sing, but it was huge for me because I never got a lot of roles in school plays and stuff like that. And then I came back that following Christmas and I had a larger role in As Far as Mill Springs. I came back last summer and we did Anne of Green Gables where I played Anne, so that was really fun.
I'm gonna cut you off right there, Sven. You have to call Lars on Crappie Talk with your question.
Thank you. No offense, Martha. I like Lars and everything, but his show is a snoozer.
A snoozer?
I don't agree with you, Sven, but okay, go ahead.
I don't want to go home yet, because Judy will make me shovel the driveway. What should I do?
Got any night crawlers?
Nope, I got no bait.
Don't panic, Sven. We'll just have to work with what you've got. Sven, what did Judy make for your lunch today?
She made me a Spam sandwich. Judy makes a nice Spam on rye.
All right, Sven, listen carefully. Pick off a chunk of Spam, not too big or it'll choke the crappie.
But they're allergic to Spam.
Got it. Now what?
This is the tricky part. Run the hook through the end of the Spam. Do not let the hook poke through the Spam.
The theater itself, it feels like a theater. It doesn't really feel like you're performing in a barn. But I love the atmosphere here. It's just, you walk into the craft barn, smells beautiful, and there's so many, I guess it's so nostalgic for me because this is like the first place I ever acted.
Listen to the news each day. Learn what's what and don't be a butt. Listen to the news from Whitefish Bay. Walter.
You're listening to Walter Giselson, and this is the local news. The winner of this year's Winter Carnival Snow Sculpting Contest is Pauline Jorgensen, whose winning sculpture, titled A Really Big Fish, takes away a beautiful 15-pound frozen turkey from Johnson's Piggly Wiggly. In other news, Sven Oxtrue caught a 9-pound crappie today out at Lefsey Point. His bait, a chunk of Spam.
This is the second time I've worked here. I was in a production last year. Before that, I did a couple of shows with Off-Broadway Dinner Theatre with Peter Cooey. Also, I did quite a bit of work with Gateway, and I've been in 3 or 4 Summer Players productions. My main experience was in England, where I was in murder mysteries. I did about 500 of those.
And to think that we believed that crappies were allergic to Spam. Now, who was the dunce who came up with that one? In a related story, Spam sales skyrocketed today at Johnson's Piggly Wiggly. Johnson's Piggly, where the savings will make you giggly.
Working with Vicky, I mean, is wonderful. She really knows what she's doing, and she's such a great lady to work with. And working with her for this amount of time, she kind of gets to know you and then knows which roles and then which other people that you can work with really well.
Yeah, she's the first director I ever knew, and so working with her after so many years, it's awesome. And she's really, really good with teaching you the basic skills of theater.
I am sorry, Martha, but my decision is final.
But Big Daddy.
Oh, Lars's little mistake cost me a lot of humiliation. I walk downtown and people call me Big Daddy Loser.
You're more or less right in the middle of the audience, or the audience is right in your lap, you know, and the crowd is, they're quite keen to come. And we usually play to a packed house.
Do you think we can try again?
I love you.
I love you too. Let's get out of here.
Let's go back to
We try to stay within farming, family, rural life. We want it to be the kind of shows that you could bring your grandmother to, you could bring your kids to. Our shows run the end of June for 2 weeks. We do another show at the end of August for 2 weeks. Then our family has a band and we do a concert kind of show for 5 days in October. And then we do a Christmas dinner theater for 2.5 weeks.
This has been KOLD Radio, Whitefish Bay. I'm Walter Giselson, and if you've enjoyed the program, tell all your friends. If you haven't, don't tell anyone.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com. Max Local programming is now available online at maxonline.sasktel.com.